smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you viewing in the Caribbean, and those of you viewing on the live. Good morning, good Thursday morning to you. Hey, yes, Julian, how are you doing today?
Good Thursday morning indeed. Where there's been a lot happening. But let's get a bit of highlights coming straight to us from our news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Ria and Julian. I am Biana Brebner, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, 29 June 2023, brought to you by Coconuts Cafe. Independent Senator Dr. Marie Dillon Remy filed a matter regarding a shortfall in funding. Independent Senator Dr. Maria Dillon Remy filed a matter regarding a shortfall in funding for the Tobago House of Assembly between 2017 and 2021. Senator Remy said this amounted to $138.9 million. She argued that this is also spans several administrations. In response, Minister Imbert admitted that there were shortfalls, but said the difference was made up by the revenue collected by the THA. During the sitting of the House of Representatives yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley indicated that he was not responsible for the lack of appointment of a chief administrator for the THA. Dr. Rowley said his role only arises when the Public Service Commission identifies candidates and requests his approval, as stated by law. The Prime Minister then consults with the Chief Secretary on the recommended officer. Via his social media, Minority Leader Kelvon Morris challenged the Chief Secretary to subject himself to the same scrutiny as Prime Minister. He added that if the Chief Secretary is found to have misled the Assembly concerning his statement on June 22nd, he should resign. The Montgomery Recreational Ground was abuzz with activity on Tuesday evening as the Chief Secretary formally commissioned the new walking track around the ground. The track was constructed at a cost of $1.1 million. Secretary for Community Development, Youth Development and Sports, Pastor Terence Baines, reiterated that the track was among many things needed in the area. He said it contributed to the well-being of the community, both physically and emotionally. The Chief Secretary, in his feature address, said that the walking track allows the community to exert positive energies safely. And that there was your news in 90 seconds, brought to you by Coconuts Cafe.
Coconuts Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Thank you very much there, Biana, bringing us the news in 90 seconds. All right, Ria, who do we have on our lineup this morning, our rundown?
All right, Julian. We're going to start things off this morning chatting with Melissa Yearwood Jack, who is the Community Outreach Program Officer for TEMA. And this morning it's all about Make Yourself a Hard Target campaign.
Excellent. And who will we continuing with today on the rundown on the Tobago Updates morning show?
That's right. We continue chatting this morning with Gershom Bing, who is the founder and director of Golden Eagle. And it's all about Golden Eagles weekend the Golden Weekend Tobago, and he's going to tell us a bit more about that. That's coming up on the program. And then, Julian, we're going to wrap things up this morning chatting about TEAM, all right, which is TEAM, the Tobago Empowerment and Alliance Mission out in the U.S., coming out of, the U.S., not just Brooklyn. And Dr. Jimmy Toussaint is going to be chatting with us on Tobago Day. He's going to tell us more about it, some of the plans that they've got in train for 2023.
All right, and at this point, viewers, we prepare to head on into our birthday segment, Birthday Shoutout, sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
And we get started this morning with Shirna Frank.
Shirma, that is my mistake. Yes.
Shirma Frank, wishing you a happy, happy birthday and God's continued blessing, Shirma Frank.
And she's one of my favorite teachers. That she was attached to Signal Hill Secondary School, that is, food and nutrition. And I love you, Miss Frank. Happy birthday going out to you from Oswald and Rhea and family as well. And we also have Julian. We also have Josephine Guy, who celebrated her birthday as well. She celebrated along with Blessed Messenger. So this was their birthday pick. So happy birthday going out to you guys. Happy belated, that is. And we trust that you all continue to enjoy for the rest of the month. That's up until tomorrow. Okay, so continue to enjoy and lots of love going out.
Happy birthday indeed, Josephine, and my classmate out there as well, Dominic. Now, known in the entertainment industry as Blessed Messenger. Continue to do great things indeed and to make us proud.
Yeah, Miss Joe.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
All right, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Rhea,
yes,
what's up on your end?
But quite an interesting time. We've got graduations taking place in and around East and West. I understand that today, Thursday, Julian, I'm surprised that I didn't hear you mention today's graduation exercise. Bishop's High School. What's happening? I thought we would have heard from you by now, Julian.
Certainly, we've got the lineup of graduations happening across because it's that kind of season, it's that time. And I really want to encourage us to celebrate and to recognize our young persons, our students continuing to do excellent. This is their time to celebrate, their time to enjoy. And I see, as is customary, some people saying, oh my gosh, they're too excessive. Well, I'm guilty, Rhea. I can't say that because I was probably just as excessive in my time with an outfit that was tailor-made then that I never wore after. All right, so I'm just saying, we got to encourage, it's this time to celebrate, give them their moment of joy.
Most definitely. And I want to say kudos this morning here to those persons who are ensuring that the students get out there looking their best, the hairstylists, the fashion designers, all of them, ensuring that they're on point. And I want to say good morning as well to Phyllis Grant, hairstylist this morning, a new hairstylist for the last couple of months or so. Phyllis Grant, and she's located just after Rosie's Bakery on the West End, and that is Canaan. So good morning to Phyllis Grant and to Hair Sanctuary as well.
All right, viewers, and at this point, we head on into Tobago in Focus.
One of the major learning curves encountered during the COVID-19 pandemic was the increased use of innovation and technology to conduct daily functions. This major hurdle affected the country's education sector tremendously, with teachers, students, and parents having to quickly find ways to continue teaching and learning using these means. Post-pandemic, the Division of Education, Research and Technology is finding ways to integrate online and in-person learning and teaching, thus establishing the Hybrid Education Committee.
A committee was put together made up of persons within the Division of Education, principals, parents, etc., a large, varied stakeholder group, and we are working towards developing a very pragmatic policy guideline to help us to utilize all of the positive things that we got through the pandemic, along with our face-to-face.
This new initiative seeks to reduce teaching and learning loss due to several factors, such as unpredictable weather patterns or another pandemic situation. From early childhood to tertiary level education are represented on the committee with multi-departmental input and expertise from the division. Technical advisor from DIRTEC, Natasha Second, assured that this initiative is not just another talk shop, and the committee is well on its way to fulfill a seamless integration among all educational institutions on the island.
We wanted to look at all of the challenges and place a solution for each of them. So the guideline or the policy guidelines will meet all of the challenges that we could perceive of.
Ms. Second revealed that the committee, formed in April 2023, has a 6-month implementation deadline, which will include a pilot project in selected schools and the delivery of the completed policy and guidelines.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. In this segment, viewers, we are speaking with Melissa Yearwood-Jack, Community Outreach Program Officer at TEMA. Make yourself a hard target, and that's the campaign that we'll be chatting about this morning. Good morning, and welcome to you, Melissa.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. So as we get the conversation started this morning, any assurances, let's just before we get into the campaign, people always want to know, we're in that season, we're in that time of year. Is TEMA ready and prepared in the event of any circumstances?
We are ready. We are prepared. Every year we have a meeting and we discuss what our resources are, and we collaborate with the Tobago Disaster Management Committee, and we had several meetings thus far to talk about Tobago's readiness. And so far those meetings have been prosperous. Everybody spoke about what they have and what is the plan. So we do have a plan moving forward for the rainy season.
Excellent. The theme, the topic for this morning, make yourself a hard target campaign. It's my understanding that this campaign would have started a few years ago.
Yes.
Give us a little insight into the then, and then we bring it forward to the now, the focus for 2023.
Well, a few years ago, around, I think 2017, 2018, we had a committee which comprised of TEMA, the County Medical Office of Health, Trinidad and Tobago Met Service. At the time, we had public health, as well as some members from community development. At that time we decided, we need to let Tobagonians be more prepared, hit the ground running and talk to students, summer camps, private and public organizations, because, as I always say, disaster preparedness is not really the in thing. It's not sexy unless we hear a tropical storm warning coming on the horizon, and then we all look to these organizations and TEMA for assistance. So we just wanted at the time to keep it in the public view. And during a few years, especially when we started in 2022, it's mainly now TEMA, the County Medical Office of Health, and the Trinidad and Tobago Med Service. We speak to young people. We want to target summer camps, private organizations, any public organizations. We come to you and we have a short presentation to talk about what the Med Service does, the messaging they give out. So some people will hear, okay, we are under yellow warning. What does that mean? They explain all the messaging in detail and basically how a hurricane is formed. So when they are talking in the news, you will have a kind of understanding of what is going on. TEMA talks about what to do before hurricane or any kind of disaster. We talk about how to make your plan, what's supposed to be in your disaster kit, how to prepare infrastructure, and basically we kind of talk about a little bit about how TEMA coordinates other disaster stakeholders, and the County Medical Office of Health speaks about how to keep yourselves healthy after disaster. We know after disaster, a lot of infrastructure for government organizations may come down. You might have to go in the hospital, but you don't know how the hospital may be at that time. So we want Tobagonians to keep themselves healthy, especially after disaster, because you don't want to get sick at that time. So they talk about that.
Melissa, I'd like you to elaborate for me in terms of the target. Some people hear this information and they think that the focus of TEMA is governmental agencies only. Tell us a little bit about your target population, as well as those persons who may be having a camp, they have an internship, they have people that they've gathered together. How can they connect with TEMA to also include them in this campaign?
Well, our hard target campaign starts from July. It normally ends around September. That time we target any kind of summer camp primarily. We want to make sure the children, so sometimes when I went to the camps or schools, I will see parents and they come and they tell me, the children come home and say, Mommy, where's our disaster kit? And I know that we'll be like, I want a disaster kit. And then they will be like, okay. And they will actually start to do something like that. So we target all ages, like from 5 to going up. So any kind of sport, all we need is like a half an hour to an hour of your time. We target any kind of private organizations. This year, we haven't had the chance to go to any as yet, but last year we went to some credit unions. We went to Massey. We went to quite a few hotels, and at one time we went to a bank. I know that during this time, that especially for private organizations, they might know how to carve out time for us to talk to their staff. It's a busy day, and they'd be like, when am I going to find the time for you to talk to our staff? But if you come and we say, okay, we just shorten it to a half an hour, we can. So talk to us and tell us the challenges, and we try to work around that. And any kind of government institution, we are open to go into any kind of units in the divisions as well.
All right. How has the response been over the years? Have you seen, or can you safely say, change in attitudes, a greater level of consciousness? How would you describe it?
I would say it's a greater level of consciousness. I'm not sure if there is a change in preparedness levels, because when we go back and we ask, okay, what have you done? Most people would say, I have done nothing, right? So even though some of them may know the information, to put that information in action, most people are not doing that until, as I said, the 24 hours, if we get that, people are rushing to put that. But I'm saying that they're more open to the idea, and some people be like, okay, at least we know. And we love to give some brochures to leave with them in their home so they know, okay, at least we know and get information for at any point they choose to use it. But right now, it's the rainy season, and we already started out with a bang with Brett to our north that happened, which affected Barbados and St. Lucia. So that even though they say Trinidad and Tobago is a Trini, we have been impacted in the past. So we want you to take the information and put it in action.
So if we're to touch a little bit into some of the core areas that are covered, for persons who don't necessarily pay as much attention as they should to that area, what would you say is perhaps usually a starting point?
Okay, I start with having a communications plan for your family. All that means is most children in their school bag don't know where their parents' numbers are. Some of them might not even know where their parents are working. Communication plans mean that how can I reach you? And where are you at any point in time? So in the school bag, you put it's not for the teachers alone. So some people will say, well, the teachers have that information. During an emergency, if our emergency responder comes to your child, remember, the teacher is in charge of 30 plus students in some schools, right? You need to be able to say, okay, this is my information. How could I get on to my parents? Some people don't have that. You need to have a muster point outside of your village, meaning if there's a landslide and you cannot get home, where are you staying until you can get home? People don't think about that, especially for the north side areas where it's prone to landslides. You have to tell your family, okay, if I'm trapped, here is where I'll be, right? Because two things goes down during a emergency: electricity and communications. And you may not be able to communicate that to your family. Where will you be? Because any strong wind, those things, utilities may be knocked out. As well as you may need a muster point at home. If there's a fire, you can't run and just scatter. you have to be able to say this as a family, you're going to gather here. Because when the fire service comes, they may say, how many people in that home? And because everybody is panicking, and you may say, okay, my child is there, and they may run and panic down the road. So you have to have a muster point right outside your home. And then we touch on what to put in your emergency kit. People know the basics: food, water, flashlight. People forget that you'll need a radio. A lot of times, as I said, communications are down. You cannot depend on maybe Tobago updates or Facebook, or however young people get their information. The radio is most likely the last thing to go down. And if you need to know where the resources are, you need to get your radio. You cannot depend on your phone radio, because I said electricity will be down. You need a battery-powered radio to ensure that you know where the resources will be headed. You don't want to get that information late at all.
And that's a very interesting point you've mentioned, because, we tend to say, well, I have my flashlight, I have my radio, I have social media, I have everything on my phone.
On your phone.
But chances are that can also go down. Melissa, tell us a little bit, beyond just this campaign that takes place from July to the September period, and we see a number of photos on screen, and I think this captures last year's initiatives in terms of the outreach. Tell us a little bit about the work of TEMA in terms of engaging and informing other initiatives that take place across the year.
Well, this year, the Community Outreach Program Unit partnered with USH, and we went to the primary schools primarily, and we spoke to the principals about having a written emergency plan. We have realized that since before 2020 COVID, most schools have not done a drill with their students. Hence, a lot of the students don't know the emergency trigger, and they don't know where the muster point is. When you go to question the staff, the children don't know. So one, we wanted the children to be aware, what is the trigger, where is the muster point or muster points, right? And then we wanted to have that crisis committee created for them to discuss what is going on in the school, because you need to have a committee to discuss. It might be any kind of small emergency, but if you have a committee to discuss that and a written plan, everything goes smoother. And we realize that most schools don't have a written plan as well. They kind of going ad hoc at it. And in our team, we plan. When you have a plan, even though according to Mr. Stewart, our director, he says Murphy is always in the building, which means everything goes wrong, but sometimes you need a plan A, plan B, plan C. And most schools don't have a written plan. So we wanted to encourage that, to create the crisis committee, have a written plan, and practice the evacuation plan as well.
And you provide that support as TEMA to help schools and institutions with that?
Yes, we sent, along with the USH department, I sent a template. USH department even sent a completed template. So we went to discuss. After we sent that information, we were going to the schools to do the drill. We have noticed, though, that because of what is going on in the school year, that most schools would get the information, but some schools did not put that information to use because of what is happening in the school. They always have things happening. But we want to implore the schools we've been to put that information to use. Because, for example, this year we had some, what they call it, in these high schools, they had a bomb scare.
Yes.
Things can happen at any time. And if your students don't know that this is a trigger, the students that can happen at any time. You mightn't be in class where you could control them. It might happen at recess. It might happen at lunch. So the students need to know this information.
All right. And just before we close this morning, I'll call for the flyer back up on screen, just to reinforce for our viewers and those listening in this campaign that is starting from July going down to September.
We want to make sure that you contact us at 660-7489. My extension is 2037. My cell phone number is 756-5646. Or you could email us at temapublicrelations@gmail.com or melissa.jack@tha.gov.tt. You could call me at 8 to 4 Monday to Friday, and we will schedule a time to come to you.
All right, folks, a gentle reminder there. This is the campaign taking place with TEMA, making yourself a hard target. And that's the campaign that's happening. So once you got your workplace, you got a camp happening, a grouping with young persons, middle-aged, senior citizens, it doesn't matter. TEMA is there and ready to provide you with that level of support. They're asking for as little as half an hour to 1 hour to come to bring you the information one-on-one, wherever you are. Mind you, they're not asking you to come to them. They are coming to reach you where you are. So let's ensure that we maximize on this opportunity coming out from TEMA. Thank you very much, Melissa, here with Jack, Community Outreach Program Officer, for joining us here on set at the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. A quick shout out this morning, I see on the live, Julia Brong, Doniel Vincent, Sharon Mills, Auntie Dora in the mix, Laverne Simon, Audit Cowan, Elizabeth Johnson Cooper, Portia John Charles, our very own youth host Luke James Trim, Patricia Arter, producer Anton Parks, Marilyn Spence, Joe Fields, Suzette James, and the list continues. Lisa James, QK Melville, Listra, Scotty. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And at this point, we remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Are you flood ready? Monitor trusted sources for info. Wear protective gear when you clean up. Contact your insurance provider to assess the damage. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Praise Break Tobago, the most amazing praise and worship experience happens at Shore Park Cultural Complex, Tobago on Saturday, July 15, 6 p.m.
After blessing and nothing can hold it back. What is for me? Oh yes, it will be.
The most electrifying gospel ministers, Positive, Blessed Messenger, Sharon, Dirk, Mark, Isaac, and Tobago's finest, hosted by Advance tickets for Praise Break Tobago are only $100 and available at all Showholics locations, Urban Fashion, Gulf City Mall Lola, and online at carrytickets.com. Visit Golden Eagle on Facebook or Instagram for more details. Praise Break Tobago, July 15th, Shore Park Complex, 6 p.m. I look into the location now. See you later.
Viewers, welcome back this morning. And yes, it is all about the Golden Eagle or Golden Weekend at Tobago. And chatting with us this morning is Gershom Bing, who's the founder and director of the Golden Eagle. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, we saw the video playing a little while ago with all of these major artists in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, for this event. Tell us about the genesis of this Golden Weekend Tobago. I don't think we've ever heard of anything like this.
Oh, no. But, I mean, coming to Tobago can never be a bad thing, right?
All right, go ahead.
So, Praise Break is in the 8th edition, the 8th installment, and for years we have been hearing the cries of the Tobagonians wanting to experience it. So finally we have decided to bring it across, and we have been getting a great reception so far.
Give us a little bit more in terms of when it started, why it started.
Okay, cool. So Praise Break basically started as a university concert. It was a gathering of university students, giving them a break from the stress of studying and the exams and whatnot. And we decided around September, November time to put something in place where young people could have a safe space to really come and praise and lift up the name of Jesus at a very affordable cost, right? And now we have decided to bring that energy across to the sister isle.
All right, so it's just young persons, but in fact it started off with
That's how it
university
started.
students.
Correct.
And over the years, you said this is the 8th edition.
Correct.
So how has it morphed over the last 8 years?
Well, to be more specific, university students, it was at the University of the Southern Caribbean.
Okay,
and,
USC.
USC, correct. And you have the young people, and then you have the young at heart people.
Right.
You know, not so young, but, you know, they feel they could come and jump up and enjoy it as well. So that's how it's morphed into one of the #1 shows on the island. And we're really thankful for the reception that we have been getting so far. And we look forward for a really amazing time, July the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Now, is this the first time that it's happening in Tobago?
Correct. It's the first time it's happening in Tobago, and hopefully not the last.
I'm just going to leave it there. All right, so tell us what can we expect for the weekend? You said 3 days, three days of praise. What can the public expect?
So starting from Friday the 14th, we will have what we call the bonfire. And that's basically a light worship session on a location to be released. So basically how you get that location is if you purchase your Praise Break ticket, you get an email of the location. That's on the shore of one of the beaches in Tobago. And basically a meet and greet for the weekend where everyone meet, greet, and have a light worship session. Then this Saturday we have the main event at Shore Park. That starts gate open at 6 p.m. And obviously that will be an electrifying experience. As you can see the cast, so they speak for themselves. Right? And Sunday we have something what we call Golden Eagle Beach Games. We also have that in Trinidad. We had it this year on Maracas Beach with over 1,000 youths coming together. It's basically different teams competing in novelty and athletic events to see who could conquer the sand in these activities. So that's the 3 different events we'll be having.
All right, and tell us about your ticket outlets.
The ticket outlets are Showholics and Urban Fashion Gulf City and Lowlands, right? And all Showholics Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. Now, the tickets cost, in fact, Praise Break tickets are going at what cost?
$100.
$100.
$100.
For the 3 events?
$100 for the Praise Break ticket. For the 3 events, it's $150. Me, I can't get much better than that.
You can't get much better than that. And there are other weekend passes?
Yeah, the weekend passes is $150.
All right. Now, there are other outlets throughout Tobago with a special deal.
You had to be in the know. You know?
All right, I'll leave that one. Yeah. But there's some other outlets with some special offers, correct, so you can check them out as
Most
well.
Definitely.
All right, and so it's all happening, and this is the weekend. Remind us again of the dates.
The date is July 14th, 15th, and 16th. Mm-hmm. You can contact for the special deal 708-4463. The weekend passes are $150, and for Praise Break is $100.
All right, give us an idea in terms of the concert itself. Now, what is happening on? We've got the bonfire, and of course, we will not know. You will not know that location until you purchase your ticket.
Correct.
So it's one of those secret things. You've got to purchase your ticket to be in the know. So in terms of the following night, the following day, where is that going to be happening?
Beach Games.
The Beach Games.
After Praise Break, we go to Black Rock.
Right.
Right. We meet there at about 9 a.m. and you have teams from George's, Signal Hill, Mason Hall, Keenan and Bonaccord coming together. They'll be repping different jerseys, and we just come to battle on the sand. So you have your tug of war, you know, your air gun tours, the full works. So it's a lot of teams coming together, highly competitive, but friendly, nice, safe, family-friendly environment, no alcohol, no promiscuity, that kind of vibe. And I believe that's what's much needed now in the society today.
If you're repping Jesus, the standards have got to be very high and a lot different.
Correct. That's the kind of energy we're pushing.
All right. Thank you again for so much for being on the program with us. Remind us again of some of the contact numbers for persons to call for information.
708-4463. The contact, that'll be the contact for everything. Right? And you'll get a speedy reply. The number is always available to you. And you can check the outlets, all Showaholics in Trinidad and Tobago, and Lowlands Urban Fashions.
All right, but let me just put it out here. There are some other outlets that are giving you two persons
on one ticket.
Yeah. Two persons on one ticket for the same event, and that offer ends by tomorrow, the 30th of June.
Correct.
Two persons on one ticket. No, you don't want to miss that out, because after the 30th, of course, you're going to have to pay full price. So between today and tomorrow. And if you want some more information, do we have a contact to give them?
The same contact.
Call that contact to get the contact for that offer, for that special offer only in Tobago.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you again, Gershom, for being on the program with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, and all the best to you. So that's happening coming up, and that's just a few weeks away, but 2 weeks away, all right? So you want to get your tickets in hand. All right, so thank you again, viewers. Lots more coming up this morning on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
I need a weekend getaway, boy. It's CSEC, it's Cape, it's work, bank, radio, university, exam. Now we need a break. Hey, Golden Eagle, boy. Hey, come on, see this. Golden weekend. Jan, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bonfire, praise break, beach games. Golden weekend with Golden Eagle Tobago. July 14th to 16th. The whole team gonna come down to Tobago. So you really telling me it's $150 for a weekend pass? 3 events, bonfire, praise break, and the beach games. $150 all together. Say about just wanna go to the bonfire. Well, the bonfire is an exclusive one-time event, and you get that access, that location, when you get your weekend pass. I need a break. Praise break, Posy, Jaran, Blessed Messenger, the whole crew. They coming down. That's only $100 if you want to come down. But you remember it have beach games the next day. That's $120. So why just don't kill 2 birds or 3 birds at one stone? $150 for the weekend, man. We outside. So link up the squaddies, link up the brethren, the sisters, the youth groups, and we heading on down to Tobago. Trinidad meet Tobago, Tobago meet Trinidad. July 14th to 16th is a whole weekend. Sort out your accommodation. We have packages down below. Follow the links and link up the accommodation. Book your ticket, whether it's boat, plane, you might be swimming. Watch me, we coming down as a whole team. It's a whole movie. We taking over Tobago. It's a golden weekend.
Are You flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. Tatil, where people are people.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Okay, viewers, it is Tobago Updates, and we are coming to you here in Brooklyn, New York, for the TEAM, TEAM, the Tobago Empowerment Alliance Missions Fun and Family Day, Tobago Day 2022. Viewers, I tell you, it's a fun-packed evening, a fun-packed day right here in Brooklyn. As we said, we're going to be meeting with some of the scores of persons who are coming in to enjoy what Tobago has to offer. So just to let you know here, this year, 2022, TEAM is going to be honoring Calypsonian icon Johnny King. So he's right here. We're going to be meeting up with him a little bit later on in the program. We're going to be chatting with some of the vendors who came all the way from Tobago right here in New York. We're going to be chatting with them, seeing some of what they have to offer. We're going to be tasting some food, checking things out, meeting some persons that you haven't seen in quite a long time. And it's coming to you right here on Tobago Updates. So join us on our journey at TEAM's Tobago Day 2022.
Mama tell me, since a baby, don't pass people just so. When you into Tobago, don't play proudy. Tell them howdy. I say, what's the reason, mommy? It's them she tell me. She say, all I we is one family. All I we is one family.
So viewers, I met up with a gentleman. This is the food section here. So this is the concession stand. And as you can see, there are tents all along. Different types of food is being sold. But what is interesting is that this gentleman's face just looked familiar. So I asked, I said, so why does your face look so familiar? And then he mentioned to me that his father's on stage. So immediately we looked at him, and then, now you can see, I'll tell you who his father is. Okay, and then he said to me, my father's on stage. His father is Lord Nelson. Viewers, you can't get better than that. Alright? And this is Yabby. And I have to say here, Sweet Honey Yabby. Sweet Honey Yabby. And I'll tell you, let me tell you what he has on sale today. So we're talking cornmeal dumpling, cassava dumpling. Yeah, come on, walk with me, walk with me. Oh gosh, she just opened the fish. Jesus. Curry fish, kingfish. What is under here? Look in here, look at my. All right. All right, we have rabbit. I like you in the corner there. Rabbit. I like wild hog. Then we have. Oh, we want to see.
All right, buy it, taste it, and then go to the yeah.
All right. So we have it all here today at a sweet and yummy. All right, now he's a sandy by birth, but he ain't going by the sandy name. So we're going with sweet and yummy. All right. Now yummy, how long you been cooking?
For the past, how long? 10, 15 years.
And who taught you? I know your roots are from Tobago, but who taught you to cook? And who is the lady? That is what we're talking about. No, viewers, look how the lady sit down there, looking like the matriarch. Not looking like, but she seems to be the matriarch of the family. Right? So mommy taught you to cook. Tell us, we want to know what's the special ingredient, because when they open up, we smell it. At least one of the special, one of the secret ingredients. Hey, what you are selling them? I can't viewers, you're gonna pay me to tell you. I can't sell it out, you're gonna pay me to tell you. But we got the secret ingredient. I'm going to try that, you know. I'm going to try that. I don't know if it tastes like those, but we will see. Alright, so we continue walking, so join us on our journey. Remember, we're here at Tobago Day, right here. It is coming to you live, Tobago Updates, right here in Brooklyn, New York.
In search of peace and happiness, the human mind will rest. A constant love within the soul, demanding respect from the world. We get the urge in different form, but love's already is the norm. Money is very essential. I can't buy peace of mind at all. We feel like dog without a bone if we have the money alone. Because appreciation there's an human mind. Everyone needs some. Love you, everybody, love you. Because important if we are trying to live. Everyone's on the hands, everyone ought to give.
Well, viewers, we are calling it a wrap here. Of course, the festivities continue here at Tobago Day in Brooklyn, New York. You can hear the sounds of Lord Nelson in the background. That's right, you can hear the sounds of him singing still in the background. And a lot of persons here, persons we were able to connect with who we haven't seen from Tobago in a long time. Some persons who now live here, persons who are vacationing, and you know, we're really happy to be with them, really happy to connect them with you guys. So we're wrapping it up here. We were able to see as well our political leader of the PDP who is here at the festivities, and a lot of beautiful persons, a lot of Tobagonians at this function, at this gala event. All right, and it's Tobago Day 2022. So we wrap things up. We want to say thank you for joining us on this quick journey of Tobago Day. My first experience, but I certainly trust that it will not be my last. But I'm really happy that we were able to do this. So have a great time, and we will see you another time, Tobago, maybe when I get back home. All right, so bye-bye, everybody. Viewers, welcome back, and we continue the discussion this morning on Tobago Day. And here to chat with us is the PRO of TEAM, which is the Tobago Empowerment and Alliance Mission, Dr. Jimmy Toussaint. What is interesting is that this is the first time that we are doing this interview with Dr. Toussaint face-to-face. Usually he is out of the island, and somehow I thought this morning he was out of the island, but he's been here for quite some time. Dr. Toussaint, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Let me start by saying you're making the same mistake that many people across Tobago is making. So I've been here for the last 2 months, and many people, they would pass me by and say, what you doing here? I said, what do you mean by what I'm doing here? I'm a Tobagonian. I live in Tobago. I was just vacationing in the US, for the last 30 years. So
That's right. That's right.
So don't make the
Vacationing.
mistake. So if you see me, I'm a Tobagonian. This is my homeland.
That's right. My
Don't ask me
apologies.
what I'm doing here.
Oh, how long you here? This is home.
Yes, it's home.
Okay, we got it. We got it. I won't make that mistake again. No, Dr. Saint, it's always good to be able to chat with you. We're talking team.
Yes.
Let's go back to 2022 before we move forward to 2023. And we're looking at the time that we do have. Team has been growing. It has been expanding. Tell us about Team 2022 and, maybe your thoughts on how things went and as we focus on 2023.
Okay, so let's just clear one thing up here. So there's no Team 2022. There's Tobago Day 2022. Team is an
that's
organization.
Right. Tobago Day.
Team is an organization. It's a group of Tobagonians who just believed that we needed to come together in the diaspora, and we did that back in 2015. Actually, our organization Team is incorporated in the US as a not-for-profit in New York in 2016. So Team has 4 events, generally 4 events during the year. And I'll just mention them quickly, and then we would hone in on the 2022. So we have 4 events. We have a Mother's Day brunch that we generally do yearly. We have our Christmas or that season meet and greet. And then we have 2 major events in the summer. One is called the Blue Food. It has changed over the years. Now it's called the Blue Food Wine and Beer Fest. And of course, we have the Tobago Fun and Family Day, aka Tobago Day. So we could talk about 2020. Tobago Day 2022
not
now.
Team.
Right.
Tobago Day.
Right, Tobago Day. So last year, as I mentioned, Team is very innovative. In order to just, stay relevant, and we've been around for the last 8 years, we have to do, innovative stuff. So last year, what we did, we moved from where we generally have our Tobago Day, which is this park in called Canarsie Park, and we moved into an enclosed environment. Part of the reason is because we needed to raise funds to get gates, because it's pretty expensive to conduct these events. Actually, the Tobago Day 2022, it costs us about 20,000 US. We are not funded by anyone. We do these little food sales, etc. And food sales don't bring in that type of money. So this year, we are actually looking at corporate sponsors. We are looking for anyone who would like to assist in funding us to having a great Tobago Day. But going back to the 2022. So we had it at the Old Boys High School grounds. We charged, it was a minimal amount of $5. Some people complain, I don't know why, $5 really doesn't do anything this year. And imagine you're getting all these great artists like Lord Nelson, Johnny King. We had dancers, drummers, tassers. It was just a marvelous day. But not only that, what we did, so Team again, what we are trying to do, we are trying to bridge this gap between Tobago and the diaspora. And I should mention it, although my computer went off there, but we have a mandate. The mandate is to foster and support initiatives for education and cultural growth in Tobago and the diaspora. So we are not about a lime in the summer, because many people have their days in the US there, and all you know is, okay, it's a John John Day, it's a Laventil Day, and then that's it. We are an organization that is following that mandate there. So the reason why I brought that up, several years ago, and this just happened to me, I was shopping in a grocery in Brooklyn, and I saw some Matuks products. And then I think I was in Tobago just before that, and I saw several Tobago-type products in the supermarket here. And I stood up and I said, why isn't Tobago products in the supermarket up here? I mean, it's Trinidad and Tobago. If Matuks could get here, then, there is a way, there is some route in order to get the products there. So last year, working with an organization which was formed in Tobago called the Tobago Entrepreneurs Association, we were able to get several Tobago entrepreneurs to come to the Tobago Day. The hope was to open them up to the US market, New York, etc. that's still a work in progress. There was some, back and forth, but it's something that we actually have a basis, a foundation that we could work off of.
Right.
So we had them. We had another thing that we did. So you all know I would say one of our sister islands is Grenada. And they have their Grenada Day. And actually their Grenada Day, it was the week before us. And there were thousands and thousands of people at Grenada Day. And we went there, we looked at some of the vendors, etc., etc. And we had some of the vendors actually come to the Tobago Day. So we are expanding more than just Tobago and New York. We are trying to reach the Caribbean also.
Right.
So I know I'm talking a lot, and if you allow me, I'll just... But go ahead.
It's good information. But in the interest of time, let's talk about the blue food that's coming up.
Yes. So again, as I mentioned, funding is an issue for the Tobago Day. We would like people to just help us with the funding, corporate sponsors, etc. One of the events that we do is the blue food. And that is carded for July the 29th. It's a Saturday. Actually, last year, with good marketing, our food was sold out in like an hour and a half. But we stayed around and, we had a nice time. In fact, my father was there last year. And the day after the blue food, he's asking me, when is the next blue food? Because he enjoys himself so much. In fact, he's in Trinidad right now and is hoping to be there for that blue food. And I think we're going to have a great time. You saw the menu there. I think it was probably on the screen, but we have pork, fish, hardfall, you call it yadi here.
Rabbit,
and of course, we have our crab and dumpling, but there's a plus also. Now, I think right now, the season for hunting like iguanas, etc., is closed here. So, Tobagonians can't eat iguana. However, we also have iguana on the menu. So we don't have no closed season in Brooklyn there. So Tobagonians who are probably traveling, come to the blue food. Tobagonians who are out, not just Tobagonians, bring your friend, family, come to the blue food, support it. We are looking to host about 400 people. The tickets are like $35. So, that's some money that we would have that would go towards the Tobago Day. We'll also be selling wine and beer, and don't say I said, but a little sours might be there also. So come support that blue food because it's going towards the Tobago Day 2023. And I could talk about that now.
All right. So tell us about 2023 and what is some of the changes. How will it be different from 2022?
Right. So 2023, as I said last year, we brought up the entrepreneurs. We have not been in formal talks to bring back these entrepreneurs as an organization, but several of them are actually on their way, would be coming to the Tobago Day 2023. They liked it so much, they decide to, fund themselves and get there. Right. So we would have them. This year, as for the last 3 years, we've been trying to honor an icon of Tobago.
Yes.
This year we are targeting Prince Unique. I have been in talks with him. Team have been in talks with him several times, and we're hoping that he would be there. Again, I have to mention funding is always an issue.
Yes.
So we have been talking to Tuco. Hopefully they would give him a ticket. If not, we also been talking with Caribbean Airlines. I should mention Caribbean Airlines is one of the companies that sponsored us a round trip last year for a raffle, and they are most likely on board this year again. So we are getting these corporate sponsors. I should also mention, and I probably am reiterating this so many times about funding, we are reaching out to the big corporate sponsors like Matux, Angostura, Caribbean, and these people, hoping that they would jump on board and see the necessity for promoting our culture outside there. So yes, as I mentioned, Prince Unique is on board, but we also have some VIP people that we are courting. I don't want to let it out of the bag, but I'll just say very softly. We are looking at the Chief Sec office. We are courting him. We are looking at the tourism, Secretary of Tourism. In fact, I also heard, I heard that TTAL, Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, well, right now, probably you all know that they are targeting the North American market, as an emerging market to bring visitors and tourists from that area. And what I was told, that they see the Tobago Day as a driver for assisting them. So we are also courting them. We have the usual VIPs who would be there, the General Consulate. He has been, in fact, that office has been there for the last 6 or 7 years. And last year, and even this year, he said, here, what? This thing is so good, I want to bring my counterparts. So we are looking at the Consul General from Barbados, St. Vincent, etc. We're working on that. So we think it's going to be great. We think it's going to be great.
You think?
We know.
Okay. That thing didn't sound like you at all. That's right. We know it's going to be great. And it's happening. Remind us again of the Blue Food Day that's happening.
Right.
And where.
So the Blue Food is going to be on July 29, the end of this month. It's at Jehu's, a place called Jehu's. It's 2424 Linden Boulevard. So you're just driving up Linden Boulevard, going towards Queens. It's on the right. And of course, I should mention all information. Go to our Facebook page. Just look up Tobago, Team Tobago. You would find all the information there, up-to-date information. You would see all these nice little jingles, etc., just appearing from today, actually.
All right, most definitely. And then we've got Tobago Day happening a little bit later on.
Yes.
In the year. Which
Yes,
will be...
that's August 20th, Tobago Day. Right now, I should mention this because, I just like to be open with everyone. Right now, our location is at the Canarsie Park. However, just like last year, it was at the Canarsie Park until we got that final saying that, okay, we could get the Old Boys High School grounds, which is enclosed.
Right.
We are looking for an enclosed environment where it's more controlled.
Yeah.
Where we could get some little gates. Come on, I'm saying $5 is nothing.
You can charge persons to come in, yes.
Because, we need to be able to pay for these things. Right, so we're looking at that. All that information would be online. If anyone knows of any place that, we could get reasonable, please reach out to us.
All right, so share the information with your friends and family abroad. You can check out the Facebook page, the social media pages, and get the information. Share it with your family and friends abroad. Because at the end of the day, the money's collected. Do not stay there. Team is always ready and willing to support what is happening here in Tobago. It's all about Tobago. Everything they do is about Tobago. All of the members of Team are born, bred descendants of Tobagoans. All right, so it's all about giving back. So we need you. In fact, they need you. We need you to help Team to do what they need to do for you. Yeah.
Right, and before I leave, I just want to make mention of 3 persons. One is our president. Her name is Astrid Benjamin Campbell.
Hi, Astrid Benjamin Campbell.
The sister of Oscar Benjamin. And I want to mention, the second person I want to mention. So, Tobago Day, that has been around for about 40 years or so. It has been the brainchild, one of the person, the brainchild of Angela Muddy Cooper. Well, guess what? This year, she's a heavyweight. I worked with her last year, and this woman, she knows everyone. She is in charge of the Tobago Day this year.
Yes.
So we have brought on a real heavyweight. And finally, I just want to thank my family. There's one particular one who is always pushing me. That's Sandra.
I was wondering, you couldn't call any other name.
Yeah, so I just want to say shout out to the 2 Saints from Belgarden and the Oars from Goodwood, as I always end.
That's right. So he's an East Side boy, Goodwood, all the way to BG. All right, so thank you again for being with us this morning, Dr. Jimmy 2 Saint. Viewers, lots more coming up. You stick with us here at the Tobago Updates Television. We've got GMT coming up. We want to say have a great day as we head on over to GMT with Candace. We're going to go into the Tobago Notes. So stay blessed, stay safe. Bye-bye, everybody.
22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." This biblical quote sums it up nicely what the 4-H Club is all about. It's all about children building life skills by leading in hands-on projects, which help them grow in confidence, independence, resilience, and compassion. Over 300 Tobago students were inducted as 4-H members recently. The students beamed with pride as they get ready to put their 4-H's into action as they navigate through life.
We gather here today under the theme to make the best better, which encapsulates the essence of what this remarkable organization represents. To the soon-to-be inducted members, let me extend my heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you. Your hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment have earned you a place among the ranks of the esteemed 4-H Club. Today, we celebrate your achievements and recognize the potential that lies within each of you to make a profound difference in our society.
It always warms my heart to look at the sea of white and green at our 4-H induction. You are becoming official 4-H members, and I encourage you, our future students, our present, you, our future, our hope, to continue to use the 4-H's, your head, your heart, your hands, and your health, as we strive to always make the best better.
The induction ceremony was held at the Shore Park complex.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Independent Senator Dr. Maria Dillon Remy filed a matter regarding a shortfall in funding for the Tobago House of Assembly in the Senate between 2017 and 2021. Senator Remy said this amounted to $138.9 million. She argued that this issue also spanned several administrations. In response, Minister Imbert admitted that there were shortfalls, but said that the difference was made up by the revenue collected by the THA. Meanwhile, during the sitting of the House of Representatives yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley indicated that he was not responsible for the lack of appointment of a chief administrator for the THA. Dr. Rowley said his role only arises when the Public Service Commission identifies candidates and requests his approval. As stated by law, the Prime Minister then consults with the Chief Secretary on the recommended officer. Via his social media, Minority Leader Kelvin Morris challenged the Chief Secretary to subject himself to the same scrutiny as the Prime Minister. He added that if the Chief Secretary is found to have misled the Assembly concerning his statement on June 22nd, he should resign. And finally, the Montgomery Recreational Ground was abuzz with activity on Tuesday evening as the Chief Secretary formally commissioned the new walking track around the ground. The track was constructed at a cost of $1.1 million. Secretary for Community Development, Youth Development and Sports, Pastor Terrence Beans, reiterated that the track was among many things needed in the area. He said it contributed to the well-being of the community both physically and emotionally. The Chief Secretary, in his feature address, said that the walking track allows the community to exert positive energies safely. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Well, viewers, now this week has been quite a heavy week for us here in Tobago because we had the budget presentation on Monday, and today we will have debate on the budget. But and all through the week, we've been covering just different aspects of the budget, and we will continue to cover this because we are looking forward to see later today, what the various secretaries and assistant secretaries would be presenting to the House regarding their divisions as to the plans and the initiatives that they want to execute in the coming year, as well as, hopefully I should say, a breakdown of their finances, what was done last year and what they hope to do this year, what allocations they're hoping to put in what parts. We're hoping for specifics. But we are, continuing those discussions this morning. And specifically for the budget, we are looking at the business sector. And to give us a perspective, we have the chairman of the Tobago division of the TNT Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and that is Mr. Curtis Williams, who is joining us virtually. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good. Morning, Candice. Morning to our viewers and listeners, wherever you may be. And just one of these good mornings. At least we have some sunshine today.
Yes, the sunshine is welcome. Now, of course, we know in the House, we're going to hear a bit more on what was spoken about from Chief Secretary on Monday. But I want to get your overall perspective on the budget as it was presented. What are your opinions?
Candice, we want to applaud the Chief Sec and his team for the delivery of the 2023-24 budget proposal. However, from a general business point of view, Candice, we have outstanding payments for service providers, normal contractors, and this has significant impact on business and the overall economy. With business experiencing delayed payments, it creates a cash flow issue, and it hinders our ability to pay our employees and suppliers. And this limits the growth and investment. So we think addressing the outstanding payments for normal, Candice is talking about normal, regular bills, people who do business with the THE, right, to foster a better, healthy business environment. So we're looking at timely payments, and we're hoping that the Assembly can look into it because it's very important to have an effective management practice, including efficient payment systems and clear protocols for settling bills. And this would, maintain a positive benefits on the economic climate on the island. Right? So we're hoping that something could be worked out with that. Candice, I also noticed that we need to better that relationship between the central government, and that should be a priority to the THA. Yeah, we really need to get that. So we urge the Chief Sec and his team to let good sense prevail. And the only person who hurt in all of this is the citizens of Tobago.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's been a lot of talk about just the economy of Tobago as it is right now, and being challenged, first of all, by the pandemic, and even being challenged before that by the problems we experienced on the sea bridge and so on, because that didn't quite sort itself out before the pandemic happened. What's happening on the ground right now, and can the plans that were presented in the budget, can that help the Tobago economy move forward in any kind of way?
Well, Candice, you hit the nail on the head. Today, we're really looking forward to that plan of action by the various divisions through the debate, in which they will give us a breakdown and details on how each division intend to spend whatever is being given to them. And we definitely, as a chamber, as the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce, will keep the THA in check. We will look for transparency and accountability throughout all divisions, and just to ensure that they're definitely happening there.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was something interesting that was presented in the budget and at the beginning when the Chief Secretary was sharing some of the statistics and so on? He said that 55% of the employees in Tobago are through the government, and 45% is in the private sector. and then there's also that conversation happening about the fact that Tobago does not have enough people on the island itself to sustain a robust private sector. I want to get your perspective on that, just relating just the statistics of the private sector, the labor force, to just even the amount of people that we have here on the island.
Candice, in previous years gone by, the THA mentioned that they wanted to reduce the level of employment within the THA, so that's to free up and give the private sector the opportunity to get some of these employees. So we're solely looking forward to that. We on our own decided to commission a survey among business because we realized that some of the information is critical and we need to get accurate and critical information. So we're hoping to convince our business to get together, and we're going to commission a survey to get some statistics, because we want real statistics on the ground as to employment, as to business, as to the real situation on the ground. And we mean business throughout, from Charleville to Crown Point. So we're hoping to commission that survey so we can get real data, because Candice, without data, it don't make any sense. You're planning without knowing what's really happening.
Now, another statistic that the Chief Secretary presented, and he did note that, there might be some inaccuracies with what was given to him from the CSO, and that is there is 1% unemployment on the island. However, he noted that the real challenge is that there is a significant number, an unknown number of underemployment. And, I want to know from your perspective, how can the private sector, assist with treating with the underemployment issues that we have here in Tobago?
We want to know the facts. And the facts, then we can look into the entire overall, and then we will be able to see where we can start to move off. Because without the facts, without the data, planning, nowhere we can do any planning. And we're looking forward to that survey where we can get facts. Because once we get the numbers, we will be able to make decisions, we'll be able to talk more appropriately than now.
And was there any plan that was presented in the budget that stood out to you as something that can work for Tobago's economy?
Well, I want to mention the mega farm, great initiative. We're looking forward to see how it goes. So we have Secretary for Food Security to start. We're looking at the program for the business guarantee program through BDU Venture Capital. We want to hear more of that because we're struggling to flesh out. Also, private investors that she spoke about, we didn't think much of a license, but I for that area, able to expand on it and give us some more, because it's critical that we get the details and not just, as I indicated, the pieces well represented, good package, but action plan. No.
Mr. Williams, I think you're breaking up a bit, but I think we should probably take a quick break, and we'll come back, and hopefully we'll have a better connection with Mr. Williams when we get back.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago
Updates. Good morning, Tobago. Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Well, viewers, we are continuing our conversations with Mr. Curtis Williams, who is the chairman of the Tobago division of the TNT Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Now, Mr. Williams, just before we got to the break, you were explaining about one of the things from the budget that you were impressed by, and that was something to do with farmers. We didn't quite hear your answer because the transmission was breaking up a little bit. So could you just give us your perspective again on the farming initiatives that you think can work well for Tobago?
Yes, Candice. So we were talking about the mega farm. Producing agriculture to sustain ourselves and to export, it needs to be done on a huge basis. And we think the mega farm project will be a good one because we have the smaller farmers who cannot produce enough to export in order to make the thing viable. So we think that initiative sounds great. We look forward to the Food Security Secretary to give us a breakdown and how the mechanism will be working out so that we can hear the full detail of the mega farm, because without the details, we really won't. These are all headlines, and we really want to know what the details are so we can see how it's fitting into the whole scope of things.
All right, great. Now, what's another thing that's been taking up a lot of our attention here in Tobago, and of course directly related to the business sector, is that of contractors and contractors that are under review for the audits and so on that are currently taking place, the threat of possible legal action against these contractors. What is the feeling on the ground among contractors in Tobago who are, whether they be small or whether they be big, after this whole situation has come to the public space?
Well, Candice, as we know, that's a legal issue. We won't touch much on it. But what we can tell you that if you're going to engage the services of the government, THA, make sure you have proper documentation. All your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, and then you shouldn't have any issue going forward. All right. So when it reach any, like now, where you're having challenges receiving payments or whatever the case may be, you have a legal document to move forward to assist you with that process. Candice, you know now that we have the OPR, where all contractors, all suppliers have to be registered on this OPR system. We know it sounds a little different. So we are asking all business across the island, you need help in getting registered for your OPR. The chamber opens its arms to our members and our future members, prospective members, to come in and we can chat with you on how to get your registration and make things easy, because Candice is no longer the THA. The THA is going to be looking through the directory to see what business is registered. So we are urging all the small business who wants to do business with the THA or the central government to come visit us at the chamber, and we will help you through that process of getting registered and getting your business ready to do business with the government or the THA, as the case may be.
Now, the Chief Secretary also mentioned that the overvaluing of contracts and so on, that, I should say, has been alleged to have been happening for quite a long time in the THA. And he mentioned that he was going to crack down on some of that to make sure that whenever the THA engages services of the business sector, they get value for their money. Can I get your comments on that situation, on that comment?
Candice, and that's what we said. We're going to hold all the divisions for transparency and accountability. And we hope that when different contractors send forth the documents, there ought to be some sort of transparency as it going forward. We don't want to see work going on in Tobago, equipment contractors, and we don't know who they are and we don't know what's happening. We want everything to be transparent. We want to know what project is going on, what was the tendering procedures, and the value of the contract, and all. Candice, it must be an open book. Let the whole of Tobago feel comfortable to know that the THA is engaged in proper business, and so that everyone feels comfortable, even our Tobago contractors as well as Trinidad, that the assembly is transparent and we hold them accountable as they go along that project.
the format, the structure for doing business with the government and the THA is changing, was there any consultation between the THA and the chamber as to how the both entities can work together to make sure that, you know, when business is engaged, it is engaged with transparency and accountability?
Well, Candice, we at the chamber, we jump in front of the pack. we are now putting together a workshop to help the Tobago businesses in getting registered and getting onto this OPR registry. And so look out for that workshop. All entities who are willing to do business with the central government or the THA, we will have that workshop at our office in Scarborough. So we want to urge you to look forward to it. In Trinidad, it's already held. So we in Tobago want to have part of it, where we can sit with you and you can understand the process of engaging the THA and the central government under this new system, and so that you'll be comfortable in your preparation of your documents, etc. going forward.
Chief Secretary mentioned is in reference to the EID cut making more spaces available at Cove for Tobago businesses, especially. There's going to be a waiver of some of the fees for the first few years of them being established there at Cove and so on. How do you feel about this initiative being announced?
Candice, that was long in the pipeline. We have realized Cove, beautiful land, but not much folks taking in the offer. So with these kind of incentive, I'm sure some of our members will be looking in that direction, and even some of our private investors who want to come in will definitely be looking into that direction as well. And we hope, again, a lot of promises, but we hope that the Assembly can live up to their promises, and we will be looking into all of these promises and holding them accountable. You can't say something in the budget or say something in your proposal, and then couple months down the road, you flip on us. No way. We're not going to accept that, Candice. So we're going to hold the Tobago Assembly accountable for all that you said you're going to do, and we're going to highlight it on this platform and other platforms.
Now, what did that announcement of spaces at Cove with waivers of things for lease payments up to 5 years, as well as complimentary access to EID cuts, project management services. Did that spark any interest among your members?
Well, some of us are interested to get the breakdown and how the whole thing going to work out. I know there were some challenges that we were experiencing with our bankers engaging on projects across the island. Sometimes you ask the bank to give you that kind of financing to engage in the project, and somewhat you will ask the THA for a letter and so forth. And when you do get that letter with the commitment that at the end of the project, maybe within 90 days, the THA will release payments accordingly, most of the times the THA is not living up to that commitment. So we have a lot of our members who are contractors indicating to us that although the THA have given them a letter of commitment that they will pay in X time, when the time reaches for payments, zero. And the bank is annoyed about this, and the bank further will be looking at stringent methods in which we will be able to engage their services. It's becoming hard, Candice. That's why Tobago-based contractor, service provider to do business in Tobago, by all these little hiccups, by not getting their funding in a timely manner.
Now, what's going on at Cove specifically? How many Tobago businesses are currently based there and operating?
Candice, from my recollection, I think we only have 2 members based in Cove at this time, and we're hoping that, as I said, the conversation could spread throughout, and we could have more membership, more local-based Tobago business in Cove, taking advantage of some of the incentive that is listed here in the proposal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. We are unfortunately out of time this morning. But I'm really happy that you were able to join us and give us your perspective. And yes, we're hoping to hear a bit more. And of course, in the coming weeks, we're going to be following up on this issue because our business sector is so important to the success of our Tobago economy. So thank you again, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Candice, and we are welcome, and we are really welcome you, and we definitely, as I indicated, we're going to hold the THE accountable. You can't say something and don't live up to it. Thank you once more again, Candice.
Thank you so much. All right, viewers, we're going to take a quick break, and we will continue with our conversations when we come back.
Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong.
Are you flood ready? Monitor trusted sources for info. Wear protective gear when you clean up. Contact your insurance provider to assess the damage. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000
Good. Okay, I think that we are losing. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to you, Dr. James. Yes, I'm hearing you now. Welcome to the show this morning. How are you doing?
Thank you. I am strong and good.
Great to hear you. All right, Dr. James, now we are being faced with yet another addition to this saga, this impasse between the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary in relation to the appointment of a Chief Administrator. As it stands, since May the 17th, we continue to be without a Chief Administrator. The Prime Minister went to the House yesterday to give his perspective on the matter, responding to the statement that the Chief Secretary made at the Assembly Legislature on Thursday. And I want to get your perspective on this and what was said in Parliament.
Well, I read a report in the Newsday that stated that the Prime Minister is willing to risk resignation from the office of Prime Minister if his version of the facts turns out to be wrong. And I don't know who will be the person or who will be the persons to determine whether the Prime Minister's version of the facts is correct. But he has put his office on the line because he believes that what he is saying is true, and what the chief, or some of what the Chief Secretary has said, is not true. So we await a determination of that part of the issue, because it's a vast issue. The Prime Minister, no Prime Minister so far as I recall, and of course, memory can be very deceptive. No Prime Minister in my memory has put his office on the line for a matter such as this. But I understand that agreement has been reached, the way has been cleared for the appointment of an acting chief administrator. And I also understand that all the while we have been belaboring the issue and laboring over it, there was an administrator within the office of the chief secretary who was doing work, some of which I think the chief administrator is accustomed doing. So there was that issue. I don't know who the person is, though, that is designated. The prime minister was careful to say that there's a distinction to be made between the words designated or designation and appointed, appointment, and there was another one, selection.
Yes.
And he's saying that the chief secretary does not understand the distinction between designation and appointment, and that designation has to occur before appointment. And somebody was designated. That designation was rejected.
Mm-hmm.
The person so designated could not go on because there is correspondence to the effect that there are grounds for discontinuing with that designation. But somebody has been designated. We have not been told who that person is, and is waiting to be declared acting secretary. But this is a vast business, and we really need to have senior counsel coming in here. Obviously, there are risks involved in senior counsel coming in. And we also need the chief secretary, not the chief secretary, sorry, the chairman of the commission to come and tell us.
Yes.
To clear the air on the matter. Somebody has to be able to do that. And it seems to me that except the office of chairman of the Public Service Commission is sacrosanct. It's a sacred cow. Except that is the case, somebody like that person should come before the nation, given the declaration of the Prime Minister, and set the record straight, because we can't do it, Ms. Jackson.
Mm. And the situation continues to go down a road where, these two very senior people in our government are battling with each other, to the point where they are saying they don't want to meet with each other unless there's a third party present. And all of these things, there's so many accusations flying back and forth. And at the heart of it, the business of the Tobago House of Assembly is stymied and is challenged by the fact that we don't have an official or an appointed chief administrator in the THA.
Now, listen, at the heart of the matter is politics. Hello, I'm responding.
Okay. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hearing you now.
I'm saying, at the heart of the matter is politics. There's a different political outfit in Tobago from the one that used to be here, which was more aligned to the PNM in Trinidad and Tobago, or you can say Trinidad. The PNM does not have control over the House of Assembly anymore, right? And when it was the case that the PNM was in control of the Tobago House of Assembly, matters went easily. Matters that were very critical were ironed out very quietly by the government and the House of Assembly. This is not the case. It's a different outfit, and they have different understandings, and they will not be shall we say, bullied. They will not be lectured to. It's different. So we have to understand that politics is part of it. But even if the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary are at loggerheads with respect to the interpretation of the course of action, even if we allow that is the case, the fact remains that an officer crucial to Tobago business needs to be appointed. You could talk whatever you want, but if you follow the law while you're talking, then we should have had a chief administrator in place. We do not yet have that person in place, even though I think, from what the Prime Minister has said, the way has been paved for the appointment of an acting chief administrator in the House of Assembly. The law must be followed, even though there are fulminations, to use words. I think the Prime Minister used that word, fulminations from the Secretary, Chief Secretary's part, even though there is slander, even though there, these terrible words to the average man, but nonetheless totally permissible in the politics of our country, which is quite adversarial, as you know. So the question is, why isn't there somebody right there now? So far as I understand, the way has been paved. Apparently, an agreement has been reached. This thing does not depend on the Chief Secretary. And in fact, it depends on both the Commission and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has told us in his version of the news, of the matter, that the Public Service Commission designates, and it's only after that has happened that the Prime Minister is informed that he needs to enter his position on the designated person. And it's only at that point in time too that he is required constitutionally to talk with the Chief Secretary. Now that can go on regardless of what people say, right? But it has not been, it has taken quite some time for us to reach the stage where an acting chief administrator is now possible. But I am claiming here, I'm stating here, that you can say whatever you want once you follow the law. So the question is, why has it taken so long to follow the law? And, if blame must be cast, where must that blame be cast? Why is it that these matters have not been ironed out? We have to give second place, to whatever people want to say. That's political noise. But political noise must be seen as being different from the law taking its course. And I go back to the way I started. Who? Well, the law seems to have taken its course. Who is supposed to determine the truthfulness of the Prime Minister's version of the events?
And it also, begs a question as to what's been happening with the Public Service Commission, because at the heart of it as well, the Public Service Commission has a job to do. They are tasked with they're tasked with making sure that appointment is there in the Tobago House of Assembly, making sure that the Prime Minister is notified in sufficient time, in a quick enough time to make his determination, meet with the Chief Secretary, and send the approvals out. So what is it saying now about the Public Service Commission?
Well, I am not in full command of the dates when things were done. Right? I'm sure there's correspondence that is dated, and therefore we have to look at when those pieces of correspondence are dated or were dated, and come to a judgment about that. But there is no doubt that the appointment is done by the Public Service Commission after certain other things are done. As I understand the Prime Minister, the Public Service Commission designates somebody. When that designation is done, the Prime Minister is informed and is asked to enter his opinion on the matter. And I'm not too sure about this now, whether before he does that, returns to the Public Service Commission with an answer, he has to talk with the Chief Secretary, or how long must it take after he has been informed by the Public Service Commission? How long does it take for him to get back to the Commission about his choice in the matter? His choice, of course, being at least at the superficial level of of consultation is dependent to a certain extent on a chat with the chief secretary. But the chief secretary, of course, is not more critical than the prime minister. In fact, the prime minister is more critical than the chief secretary in this matter, right? So we are hearing all these words and we are looking at a delay and we are saying, why this delay? This delay has taken place since May, sorry. I can't remember the date that was given.
May 17th.
Or why that? May 17th. So we are talking about more than a month ago after Miss Ethelyn John, retired. And informed them by letter that she was retiring and what needs to take place there. So the Prime Minister still has to explain why the course of events. Did the Chief Secretary prevent him from moving with dispatch on the matter? And if that is the case, he must tell us in no ambiguous way that that is the case. It's the Chief Secretary that has delayed, has retarded action in this matter. So that's not clear to me. There is an explanation, but who will determine, Candice, whether the Prime Minister's version of the event, because the Prime Minister, by the way, spoke to the media and so on before, spoke to the nation on this matter, and said things that are a little bit different from what he's saying now. Of course, there's a clarification. There has been research. He has presented a dossier on the matter. He has had time to develop text around the decision that has, according to them, finally come. Their words, not mine. So we need a conversation on these matters because the politics in the country is now different. And I just want to, not that the Prime Minister needs to be reminded, but there's a different political fit in Tobago, and there is not the kind of, shall we say, subservience, and that has been the case with the House of Assembly when it was run by the PNM. It's not going to be that way, right? It's going to be different right until the next election, because that's the kind of politics we have developed in the political culture of the country. That's the kind of politics we have developed over time.
No. Now, as our politics is evolving to more, seems to be a more adversarial style of politics, whether or not the population likes it, it is what it is. And should the law then change to treat with the issues that are coming up as a result of adversarial politics? And especially in this case, where the matter of a chief administrator is dependent on the approval of a prime minister who may not be in support of the governance, the politicians that are leading the THA, should that law change?
Well, first of all, let us be clear that we point out that we don't know whether the public disagrees or not. That is a matter to be determined, and we have to go out there and ask the public, well, what do you think about this matter or that matter, as the case may be? But I hear your question about whether, in fact, the Prime Minister should be the one to appoint whose voice approves the person that is to be appointed by the commission. Remember that's the process. And what you are asking is whether, in fact, we shouldn't give the Chief Secretary in Tobago, since his office is the one within which the Chief Administrator works. And you don't give the Prime Minister that power when you have a Chief Secretary in office, and with whom the Chief Administration has to work on a daily basis. If you know, it's in the nation, with respect to the question of how ministries operate, ministers have permanent secretaries with whom they consult in the furtherance, in the execution, implementation of their official task. The chief secretary does not do that here. It's the prime minister's word that has greater weight than his word, where the administrator, the chief administrator, is concerned. Now, if I am misrepresenting the state of affairs, somebody has to point it out. You know, somebody who has the knowledge and the authority so to do. So, yes, from that point of view, Candice, there needs to be a review of the law here that gives the chief secretary the important voice with respect, except you say, leave everything up to the chief secretary, to the commission. Let the commission do everything. But we know that in the way this country has been run, ministers have a say in who their perm sex are. You follow? Maybe the thing doesn't always work out in their favor. But you know, people not appoint in this case, but have a voice in the selection of who they work with. And it is going to be rather curious that you put somebody there who has connections with the government in Trinidad and who in fact has some history of not being on good working terms with the relevant secretaries in the Tobago House, including the chief secretary. How can you give me somebody, right, that is selected by the prime minister who's a political adversary? I notice I use the word selected rather than appointed. And hopefully I'm using the right word there. Candice, you're following what I'm saying here, please?
Yes, definitely. But Ms. Dr. James, I also want to, bring this home to us here in Tobago, as we are just here sitting, watching, and hearing the talk back and forth, and the harsh words back and forth, the seemingly unwillingness to work with each other. How should we, as a people, in these last 2 minutes that we have here for the show, how should we feel about this?
Well, we have always needed to have the people more involved in the governance of the island. When the PDP won 14-1, right, it was basically a clean sweep. But in the way that the governance is structured, there is nothing there to oversee what the Executive Council does, can do, has done. There's nothing there. And we need to revise the structure of the chamber to have people who don't have office, administrative office. In another system, it would be the backbenchers. But we need to have a situation in which people who are not holding executive office, like the secretaries and the assistant secretaries, operating at a level at which they review and they look at what the executive council has come up with and they make adjustments in that sense. So the people have needed to be involved in the way they are governed. In relation to their expectations, I am sure, except for the diehard PNM followership, that nobody can agree with a situation where a chief secretary, the chief executive officer, has to work with somebody who is recommended by the prime minister, right, in order for them to do their work. I'm sure nobody would agree with that, except, of course, that bunch of people that is the followership of the PNM and the Prime Minister, or the government in office in Port of Spain. So we need to review that, Ms. Candice, and the people need to let their voices be heard, right, in this matter.
Certainly, a very crucial matter. Well, Dr. James, now we are unfortunately out of the time for the program this morning, but I want to thank you so much for being on with us and for sharing your perspective. And we are all watching here and waiting to see what is the outcome. But at the end of the day, it needs to be sorted out in the shortest possible time, and we need to get back to the business of governance. All right.
With the right frameworks, Candice, but well spoken.
Thank you so much. Well, viewers, that's it for the program today. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your love and support. Have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. But before we go, just letting you know that we have the budget debate coverage coming up from 10 a.m. this morning. So you're going to want to lock into that. Tobago Updates will be bringing to you live all of that coverage all day today as each one of the secretaries gets up there, or assemblymen gets up there, councillors, to speak about their parts or their plans for the budget. All right, so see you again tomorrow.
People in the sun.